Okay, hello. Good evening. Hi, Yunan. There's only you today currently. Right, so welcome back to our January week 3. Okay, this is our January week 3. Some they tell me they are not coming because of the Chinese New Year. So yeah, we will, just keep doing what we do lah. It's okay, Yunan. You are I think okay lah, maybe they're coming, I just late lah. Right, so I'm not gonna do anything too heavy today lah because it's still Chinese New Year. Why are we resuming our class on a Friday? I find it weird too, okay? Don't ask me why. Right, so I'll just keep things simple lah. I'm just gonna discuss some of the exercise. If we can finish this early, okay, maybe we'll get off early. Right, so I've basically finished this last 2 weeks. All right, so let us quickly go through this again. Okay, do you remember this? If you don't, please go back and read yourself lah. So anyway, we finished our microscope. We finished our steps of using a microscope. All right, so let's go to question number 3. Okay, did you do any of it? So this is our A, and this is our animal cell. All right, this is our animal cell. As you can see, there's no cell wall here. So obviously this is an animal cell, and then there's no chloroplast here. If this has color, this wouldn't look green. This will look green. Right, so number 1, what is this? The skin of the cell, we call it cell membrane. Okay, we call it cell membrane. And what is the function? This is to control substance moving in and out of the cell. All right, this is the guard house of the cell. Like I said, a cell is like a factory. This thing is like a guard house. It controls things going in and out, right? If it's a harmful substance, then they will block it. If it's useful substance, then they will let it out or let it in. Okay, so that's the cell membrane. And then number 2, this part here, the whole part of this white color part here, they are the worker. The worker is called cytoplasm. Sorry. Okay, cytoplasm. So these are the workers. So what do? They do all the biochemical reactions. Okay, so biochemical reactions take place here. Okay, biochemical reaction take place here. So what is a biochemical reaction? Biochemical reaction are all the reaction that happens in your body, right? Let's say your body is making enzyme, making hormones, digesting food, all the things lah. Okay, they will do everything. So this is where all the things happen here. Number 3, this is your mitochondria. Okay, as you have seen the meme before, it is the powerhouse of the cell, right? But this is year 10 thing. Okay, but if you want, you can write it here. Okay, so this is your mitochondria. They are the powerhouse of the cell, or you can say they produce energy for the cell. Right, your cell needs energy. Your cell is a factory. A factory needs electricity to run. So this is the source of electricity. It's like a powerhouse. Right, so number 4, the boss in the middle here, it's called the nucleus. Okay, the boss is called the nucleus. So what do? They control cell activity. Right, they control cell activity. So everything, what the cell needs to do is controlled by this fella. Okay, that's the boss. So you have the boss, you have the worker, you have the skin, the guard house. So that's a very basic cell. A cell is more complicated than that, but we're not gonna go too complicated into it. So basically B, this is your plant cell. Okay, anyway, this is your animal cell, this is your plant cell. So for 1, 2, 3, 4, They are the same function. Okay, 1 is your cell membrane, 2 is your cytoplasm, 3 is your mitochondria, 4 is your nucleus. So they belong to the same parts. So let's begin with number 5. Okay, so what is this white color part called? This is called the vacuole. All right, this is called a vacuole. So what do? They contain, okay, they contain the cell sap. Okay, what is a cell sap? Cell sap are all the things that the plants need. Or if you don't want to write this, you can say this is to store water, salt, starch. Basically, this is the storeroom of a cell, right? They need to store anything, they will store it here. They will store it here. So this is your vacuole, the storeroom of the cell, right? You want to keep it short, you can just write the cell sap here. And then number 6. 6 is here. So cell, they have plant cell, they have one more layer. This is called your cell wall. Oops, sorry, I'm gonna write it up here, cell wall. So what is the function of the cell wall? They don't control things in and out. They maintain the shape of the cell. Okay, maintain shape of the cell. All right, they don't, they don't control things in and out. That's the job of your cell membrane. All right, so for plants, they have 2 layers. They have the one that maintains the shape. Okay, this is to maintain the shape. And then they have one more to control things in and out. Okay, and then number 7, if it has color, this will look green. All right, and since this is green, there's only one answer here. That would be your chloroplast. Okay, chloroplast. Remember, chloroplast is the bag. Okay, the bag, the thing inside, it's called chlorophyll. Your 叶绿素. Okay, chlorophyll. Okay, so chloroplast contains chlorophyll. The bag contains the thing inside. Okay, chloroplast, chlorophyll. Okay, easy. So your animal cell, they have 3 parts. Okay, without counting the mitochondria. And your plant cell has 6. So 3 and 6. Plant cell has twice more parts compared to animal cell. Okay, easy peasy, easy peasy. Since most people are not here today, I don't know whether should I teach new things today. If I teach new things today, next week I'm gonna repeat everything again. Okay, we'll see how lah. We'll see how. Okay, anyway, number 4. So this is your animal cell and your plant cell. As you can see, it's very obvious. So this one has the cell wall, and this is the chlorophyll, the chloroplast. Can you see? This is the chloroplast. This is the mitochondria. Usually, chloroplast and mitochondria, they kind of look very similar. I mean, color-wise, it's very different. One is green, one is brown. But in terms of shapes, they look very similar. They just look like a rod shape, something like that. Okay, so state 2 differences between an animal cell and a plant cell. Wow, we have so many here. So number 1, I can say plant cell has cell wall. Animal cell doesn't. Okay, that's one. Wow, so many you can write here. Plant cell has vacuole. Animal cell does not. You can even say chloroplast. Okay, chloroplast. Heck, if you don't want to write cell wall, you can say fixed shape. Right? Plant cell has fixed shape. Animal cell does not, because plant cell usually they look rectangular. All right. If you Google plant cell, I think I told you this before. If you go and Google plant cell, they just look similar, right? They are all long and round and not round, long and rectangular. They just look like bricks. right? But if you look at human cells, it's all kinds of shape. Okay, your sperm cell looks different, nerve cell looks different, every cell looks different. So B, state one life process that can be carried out by animal cell. So what can the animal cell do? That would be respiration. You do remember what is this, huh? Right, your respiration is, oh, sorry. Your respiration is, where was it again? There. Okay, this is your respiration. And the reverse of respiration is called photosynthesis, right? Photosynthesis and respiration. So respiration is what we do. We take food, which is glucose, we mix it with oxygen, we turn it into water or carbon dioxide and energy, right? Whereas photosynthesis is the reverse. We use energy from the sun, not we lah, plants lah. They take energy from the sun, they take carbon dioxide and water, they combine it and they turn it into oxygen and food. So it's like a reverse process. All right. Imagine your dad is a plant. He earns money. Okay, he earns money, so he does photosynthesis. So you use his money, so you are doing respiration. So that's earning money and spending money is opposite one. So that's the the best analogy I can give. So respiration. C, predict the function that cannot be carried out by animal cell if it does not have a nucleus. Right, so if you do not have a nucleus, can you survive? Yes, you can. So what can't they do? They cannot do cell division. This is not really your syllabus, but okay, let you know. Okay, what is cell division? That means one cell, they become two. Okay, they divide. This is how your cell multiplies. This is how your cell grows, right? When you cut your skin, let's say you kill 5 skin cells, they grow back another 5 by this, right? But if you don't have a nucleus, you cannot do that because only nucleus can decide whether they want to do cell division or not. So in this case, hang on, let me. What happens if you don't have enough cell? Usually that won't happen. Usually that won't happen. Right, so what cell doesn't have a nucleus? If you still remember, that's going to be a red blood cell, you see? They have no nucleus. So you see, red blood cell, they cannot grow by themselves. So how do they grow? They are made in the bone marrow. You know what is bone marrow? Your 骨髓. You know where is it? Bone marrow is in your thigh bone. Okay, this bone here, if you chop it into half, you will see that red color jelly inside. That's the bone marrow. So they make your red blood cell. Your red blood cell cannot photostat themselves because they don't have a nucleus, right? So usually you won't have not enough cell. Usually that doesn't happen. But the problem comes when you have too many cells, right? When you have too many cells. Do you know what happens when you have too many cells? When you have a bunch of useless cells, do you know what happens? Let's say your skin, yes, very good, that's your cancer. When you grow a bunch of useless cells, they are called a tumor, right? They are called a tumor. So usually, I think I told you this before, usually before your okay, let's say one of your cell got crazy, the cell decides to grow like crazy. Before they can do that, your white blood cell will kill it, right? Your white blood cell is very vigilant. They will see where's the cancer cell, they will kill it. So when you get cancer, usually it's when your white blood cell becomes weak, right? When you are under long-term stress, you don't rest enough, you eat a shitty diet. Basically, when you affect your immune system, you have a higher chance of getting cancer. Right? Hope that makes things clear. So draw and label animal and plant cell. Okay, this is really simple. Animal cell, you just draw an egg. Okay, just draw an egg. This is a cell membrane. This is your cytoplasm. This is your nucleus. Okay, and then your plant cell has 3 more. Your plant cell has this and this. I'm drawing simple lah. So this is your cell wall. This is your vacuole. I label the rest lah. And this is your chloroplast. Okay, I'm just gonna point it here lah. This is your cell membrane. This is your cytoplasm, but this is your nucleus. Right, simple. I don't think you'll get 4 marks here in exam. Okay, maybe you do, I don't know. But wow, it's really that easy. So, moving on. Okay, next, moving on. Number 5. Okay, what are these? You still remember? So, what is the first cell called? This is your nerve cell. Okay, your nerve cell. The function is to carry nerve impulse. Okay, what is a nerve impulse? When you touch something hot, when you see something, when you smell something, when you taste something, when you hear something, all these organs, they have something called receptors. Okay, receptors, they're like your sensor. So they will send a signal to your brain. How do they send the signal to your brain? They use this thing called a nerve cell. Okay, this is like the wire in your body. Okay, you have wires, electrical wires around your body. So the job is to send signal to your brain. It sends signal to your brain so that your brain know what's up. So that's your nerve impulse. And then red blood, this is a red blood cell. A red blood cell. The function is to carry oxygen to body cells. All right. I want you to think of them like this. Your red blood cell is like your Shopee delivery truck. Okay, your Shopee delivery truck. What's the job of your Shopee delivery truck? They go to the Shopee headquarters. Okay, the Shopee headquarters. They carry your parcel to you. So same thing here. Your red blood cell will go to the headquarters. Where's the headquarters? Your lungs. Your lungs has all the parcel, which is oxygen. They'll go to your lungs, get the parcel, come to your house, and give it to you. So that's the job of a red blood cell. So your Shopee delivery system is a circulatory system. It's a transport system, right? Shopee truck is a transport. This is also a transport system. They work the same way. Okay, and then what is this? This thing that looks really okay. By the way, what is the cilia? Cilia is your tiny hair. Okay, tiny hair. Where do you get this? You get this inside your trachea here. Okay, what is this hair for? Is to filter all the dust you inhale. Let's say you go to a very dusty place. This cilia's job is to keep the dust away from your lungs. So how do they do that? They use cilia. So what is this thing called? This is called your epithelial cell. What does it mean by epithelial? Epithelial is skin. Okay, so inside we call it inner skin. Your trachea here all has skin. Okay, epithelial cell is your inner skin. So every organ has a layer of it. Like you see your heart, let's say this is your heart. There's a layer of skin covering your heart. I mean, they have to do this. If not, your heart tissue, your heart cell will just go everywhere. So there's a skin that wraps everything. So that is your epithelial cell. All right. You even have this inside your stomach. Inside your stomach, they are to protect your stomach from acid. You know, your stomach produces acid, right? So this epithelial cell, they will grow one layer every day to protect your stomach from the acid, so that you don't get gastric. Okay, so epithelial cell. So what does it do? This is to protect an organ. Okay, to protect an organ. So next, this one that looks like a normal cell. This is usually your white blood cell. Okay, they just look like the cell you draw. That's a white blood cell. So what does it do? You can say they destroy foreign particles. Okay, things outside, coming from outside the body that your body doesn't know. Your body will treat it like an enemy and will try to kill it. So if you don't want to write foreign particles, you can say pathogens. Oh, this is even a better answer. Pathogens, they are microorganism that makes you sick, right? Like COVID-19 is a pathogen because they make you sick. Salmonella bacteria, okay, the bacteria you get from food poisoning, they make you sick, so they are pathogens. All right. The bacteria in Yakult, in yogurt, in Vitagen, they are not pathogens because yes, they are bacteria, but they don't make you sick. They make you healthier instead. So that is not a pathogen. Right, next, you have your this thing. This is your reproductive cell. Right, as you can recognize them, is sperm and ovum. What is their function? This is for reproduction, or you can say to produce offspring. Okay, what is an offspring? Offspring means next generation lah. If you cannot write offspring, then write next generation law, same thing. Okay, to produce the next generation. And then the last one, what is this? If you have millions of this, if you have millions and millions of this is your muscle cell. Okay, your muscle cell. So what's their function? This is to produce movement. All right. The thing about muscle cell is they can contract and relax. They can move. Right. So think of them as tiny strings. You see, if this is your muscle, you have tiny strands of it. This is your muscle, right? So if you zoom into every strand, you should see millions of this. Let's see if I can show you your Teletubbies, muscle cells. Okay, we call them myocytes too, okay? If you join them together, can you see they look like strings? Can you see they look like strings? I mean, they look a bit disgusting, isn't it? So they look like strings. So they are your strings. You see, strings, they pull on the frame. So this thing does the same thing. Looks like cigarette. Yeah, it does. Right? So what happens here? Okay, I don't know whether I told this before. When you, okay, they look like this. Right. So when you lift a heavy weight, let's say you go to the gym, what do? You are purposefully tearing them apart. You are creating something called micro tear. You produce something called that. You see, you are producing something called micro tear. You are purposefully tearing it. Okay, there you see. Can you see this tear? So when you eat protein and your body repairs it, it makes it stronger. So this is what we call hypertrophy. Hypertrophy means you make your muscle stronger lah. The more you work on your muscle, the bigger they get. So this is the point of going to the gym. We call it resistance training. We try to lift heavier every time. Okay, because once let's say you lift 5 kg, you tear this muscle, and then next week you lift it again, next week you lift it again, and then after a few more times of lifting 5 kg, your body got used to it, and then your body is like, you know what, this is not heavy anymore. So then you go heavier. Right? So you need a stronger weight to tear this thing again. That's how you get stronger. Right? So this is your muscle cell. Very interesting. Anyway, so these are all your human cells that you should know. Okay, very simple. Humans, they're very easy to study. Plants, on the other hand, they should be simpler. But the thing is, they're very boring, so nobody gives a shit about them. At least I don't. Right, okay, but we still have to know. So what is W here? Okay, this thing is called a cuticle. It's called a cuticle. You know, the top layer of your nail is called a cuticle. Right, so this is a cuticle. Cuticle is like their wax. You see, plants, they have like a layer of, if you touch the top surface of any leaf, it feels waxy, isn't it? That's the cuticle. And then the bottom, you don't have this. So why do they need such a one of this layer here? This is to stop water from evaporating. You see, they are exposed to the sun for photosynthesis. If they don't have this layer of wax, water is just gonna evaporate like crazy. They will just dry. So they have a layer of cuticle there. So same thing like you have your cuticle on your nails to protect you. But if this cuticle gets too thick, then your nail doesn't look very nice. So they need to grind away your cuticle so that they can put nail polish on you. Okay. I mean, I don't use nail polish, or I don't know. So X here, what is this layer called? This is your upper epidermis. Epidermis also means skin, right? Your skin is called epidermis. All right. You might say, sir, isn't it epithelial? Epithelial is inside. Epidermis is outside, right? So this is your epidermis. Your outside skin, what? It's called epidermis. That's why, do you know do you know who should you visit if you have skin problem? Not beauty salon, okay? If you have skin disease, who should you visit? What is that doctor called? Yes, I know it's the doctor. What's that doctor called? Skin doctor. Epidermis doctor. Got a name one. Okay, we call it dermatologist. 皮肤专科. Heard of it? Heard of it? Because derma means skin, and then derm means what? Dermis lah. So if you have pimples, okay, if you have like eczema, if you have any like skin problem, if you need to remove your tattoo, you have to find dermatologist. They can laser your tattoo away. That's their job. So derma lah, derma means skin lah. Okay. And next, what is this layer called? This is called your palisade cell. Okay, palisade cell. They have the most chloroplast here. Can you see? All these, they are chloroplast. Okay, all these, they are chloroplast. So your palisade cell. And then the bottom layer here, this is called your lower epidermis. Okay, you have your upper skin and your lower skin. Okay, easy peasy. Upper skin, lower skin. Right? And then, they didn't ask for N, by the way. Oh, yeah, they did. Okay, they do later. So what is the function of W? What's the function of a cuticle? I mean, you don't need to know this, but this is to prevent water loss by evaporation. Or you can say prevent evaporation of water. If not, leaves, they will just dry up and it will die. And then next one is Y. Y is a palisade cell. This is to carry out, as you know, photosynthesis. Okay, very straightforward. And then D, what is cell N? What is this cell N here? Your N is what we call a guard cell. Okay, a guard cell. The opening of your house beside is a guard house. So the opening here, the beside is a guard cell. So same. So what's the function? Your guard house is to control the opening of your taman, isn't it? This is also to control this opening here. This opening is called stoma. Okay, this is to control opening and closing of stoma. Right? They can make the stoma open, they can make the stoma close. Okay. So stoma is the hole underneath lah. I hope you get to see this in school lah. That's your stoma. I've seen it once. It's really cool. I mean, if you have trypophobia, this looks a bit disgusting. Okay, why is this stoma? It's stomata. What the hell? Okay, there. If you zoom into your lower epidermis, you should see something like this. Remember I told you all plant cells looks the same one, you see? All the plant cells, they look similar shape one. They just look kind of rectangular one. They have no other shapes. Right? I mean, compared to us humans, we can be round, we can be long, we can be whatever shape imaginable, but they just look boring. Right? Plants are boring, come on. Anyway, so this is your gut cell. And then so E, complete the diagram below by using the words given below. So does the cell have a nucleus? No, if they don't have a nucleus, this is called your red blood cell. As I said, your red blood cell has no nucleus. Oh, fun fact, your red blood cell, they will be destroyed. Okay, after 3 months, your red blood cell can only function for 3 months. After 3 months, your liver will take back the red blood cell and they will kill it. Okay, they will kill it. And your bone marrow can make new ones. Right? And here's the thing. Your red blood cell, after 3 months, they are still perfectly functional. They are still functional, but your body just gets rid of it. Your body just kills it and make new ones. All right, don't ask me why this is like a safe design so that red blood cell they don't just spoil, right? So that they can function very optimally. So this is why they ask you to go and donate blood. You see, when you donate blood, right, you're just getting rid of the old red blood cell. It's gonna die anyway. Might as well you just donate it, right? Because your body is just somehow going to make new ones. So when you donate blood, not only you are getting rid of the old blood, you are also helping others. So donating blood is a very good thing. I mean, shamefully, I've not donated before. But here's the thing, if you donate blood, right? If you donate blood, they will record your name in the system. And next time, if there's not enough blood in the hospital, they will choose to save you first, right? You have the priority of being safe first because you save people, right? So if you have the chance, go and donate blood. Yeah, I always wanted to, but I just never get the chance to, right? But please make sure you're 18 lah. So, does it have a nucleus? Yes. So does it have a chloroplast? If it doesn't have a chloroplast, obviously this is a sperm cell, right? If not, a sperm will look green, which is weird. Okay, so next, yes, if it has nucleus, it has chloroplast, that would be a palisade cell. It should be here, but hey, they fill in the gut cell for you, but yeah, it's the same. Right? Easy, this is so far chapter 2 should be very easy. So F, explain why the cell mentioned in E1 does not have a nucleus. Why does it not have a nucleus? Right. Why do red blood cells, they don't have nucleus? This is to allow the cell to carry more oxygen, right? Because you see, your red blood cell's job is to carry oxygen. When it has a nucleus there, it's like blocking the space. So if your red blood cell is completely empty, there's no nucleus inside, they can carry more. So this makes your stamina better. Right. Your stamina is decided by your red blood cell. I think I told you this before. If you have more red blood cell, okay, if you have more red blood cell, then you have better stamina. Right. So how do you increase your number of red blood cell? You exercise lah. Okay. As if you go and run a marathon every day, yeah, I don't think you can lah, but if you go out and run every day, your body is going to produce more red blood cell and you have better stamina. So G, explain why the cell in E2 cannot produce its own food, because it doesn't have chloroplast lah. It does not have chloroplast. Right? So what? Okay, therefore it cannot carry out photosynthesis. This fella cannot do photosynthesis, so it cannot make its own food lah. I mean, your sperm cannot make its own food. If not, it will just be weird. Okay, anyway, so what is this? Okay, let's jump back, shall we? Let's jump back, shall we? Let's jump back to where we left off. Okay, I believe we finished our animal. Okay, let's jump back to page 5. Okay, so this is a very simple part. Okay, what makes you? How does a cell, how do many cells come together to make you? Okay, that's very easy. So first you have a cell, right? If you take a bunch of cells that look the same and you put them together, you get a tissue. Okay, tissue. So your blood is a tissue. When you peel off a piece of your dead skin, that's your tissue. Your hair is a tissue. And then when you take a few different tissue, you put it together, you will get an organ. Okay, you get an organ. And when you take a few organs, you put it together, you get a system. Remember the 11 systems we have learned in chapter 1? Those 11 systems. I'm not going to repeat here because we learned it in chapter 1. And then when you take that 11 system, you combine it together, you get an organism. Right? This is very simple. Cell is like a student. Okay, cell is like a student. When you take a few students, you put it together, you get a group. Okay, I'm sure your class has different group, right? When I take a few groups and put it together, you get a class, right? And if you take a few class, you put it together, you get a year. You're in year 7, and you take a few years, you put it together, you get a school. Right? This is like the organization. It's like Google lah. Okay, it's like Google. In Google, right? Okay, you have the company. The company has many departments. Okay, the department has many sub-departments, smaller departments, and every department has a leader, and every leader underneath there's the worker. Right? You might say, sir, why need to organize like this? Like, you see, the bigger a company is, the more organized they need to be. Right? This is to ensure efficiency. Okay, to make sure they are efficient. You know what is efficient? That means 有效率. They are better at doing things they do, right? Because you see, let's say a big company, let's say Google, if you are the chief designer of the, okay, let's not say chief designer, you are the interviewer in the HR department. That's your only job. What is the HR department? HR department, their job is to hire people. And you are the interviewer, you need to interview those who are coming into the company. Your job is only that, right? You are a very good interviewer. You are good at one job. I won't ask you to go and handle design, to handle marketing, to handle this and that. Your job is to interview and interview only, right? I can't ask you, hey, you go photostat things for me. Hey, you go and clean the toilet for me. No, that is other people's job. This is called division of labor. We divide your labor into many parts so that the company runs more efficient. You don't need to one person go and do a lot of things. So this is the same thing, right? You see, like if you're a muscle cell, your job is just to move. You don't need to excrete, do respiration, or whatever, right? Your job is to move. So you have your cell here, okay, the basic unit of life, and then you get a bunch of tissue, like epithelium cell, you get epithelium tissue, like your epidermal tissue. And when you put tissue together, you get an organ. Your stomach is an organ, liver is an organ. And when you put together, you get a system. Okay, remember the 11 systems? And when you put it together, you get an organism, which is a living thing. Right? Of course, only us humans have like, okay, if you look at mammals, we have 11 systems, which is a lot. If you look at insects, they don't have that much system. Like you see plants, plants, they have only 2 systems. Plants, they have the root system and they have the stem system. That's all. They only have 2 systems. We have 11. So that's why we are much more complicated to study. Right? So that's our 11 systems here. Okay, yeah, that's all. That's all. So the next part is your microorganism. Okay, I'll just quickly go through this. So what are microorganisms? They are just tiny living things. Okay, they are tiny living things. A microorganism is a living organism that can only be seen using a microscope. You can only see them using a microscope, as you know. So there are 4 types that you should know. Okay, we have we have bacteria, we have fungi, we have algae, and we have protozoa. Okay, I pronounce this as algae. I don't pronounce it as algae because that sounds really funny. I just pronounce it as algae. So what are they? Right. You might have heard bacteria before. Okay, they are found in your yogurt or Yakult. You have bad ones and good ones. I'm sure you know what is fungi. Fungi is your mushroom. Okay, fungi. And then what about these two? Okay, algae and protozoa. What the hell are they? Okay, very easy. Algae is a mini plant. Okay, algae is a mini plant, whereas protozoa is a mini animal. All right, so this is a mini tree or mini grass. This is mini you. We are animals, right? So this is your ancestor. We belong to the same family. Protozoa is like animal but tiny version, one cell version. So they're like our cousin. They are our closest cousin, right? We are not like bacteria. We are not like fungi. We are not like algae. We are a lot like protozoa. We are like animals. Like, do you know what is it? Do you know what is a paramecium? Do you know what is an amoeba? Have you seen this thing before? These two, you can find them in any lakes. You can find them in any lakes. You go to any fresh water, not sea water, they cannot survive in salt. You just go to any lakes or any pond, you just scoop a little bit of water, you put them under the microscope, you can happily see them swimming. You see, they're tiny animals because they can move. So if you look at paramecium, right, this looks a bit disgusting. Paramecium. They just look like a slipper with hair. Don't it look like a slipper? And they have hair surrounding it. So it looks kind of disgusting. So there they are. Okay, there they are. They are happily swimming in water. And then they have their friend here, which is amoeba. Okay, amoeba. There it is. There. Also happily swimming in water. They're just tiny animals. Okay, they are just tiny animals. Okay, minding their own business. They won't harm you or anything. They're just there. Right? When you drink them, they're just gonna die anyway. Your stomach is just gonna kill them. So these four, they are your microorganisms, your tiny living things. Right? So let's look at bacteria first. So bacteria can be seen under a light microscope. Okay, they are big enough to be seen. Okay, not that big lah. Okay, they're small. But compared to virus, okay, you might say, sir, what is virus? Okay, I'll talk about virus later. So they can be seen under a light microscope. It can be spherical, spiral, rod, and comma. That means they can look round, they can look spinny, they can look long, they can look like a comma. Right? So I'm sure you have seen this rod bacteria before. You go watch advertisement, Lifebuoy. They say they can kill 99, or Dettol. When they wash their hand, they say they can kill 99.9% of germs, When you zoom in, you see this round one. The long one. That's the bacteria, lah. Alright, so they reproduce through fission. Now, what is fission? Fission is when they split from 1 into 2. Okay, one bacteria, they go, pop, or now 2. That's how they reproduce, right? So when conditions become unfavorable, if the condition is really bad, as in it is really dry or really cold, right? So they will form spores and can survive for a long time. This is what happens when you buy a piece of meat. Let's say when you buy a piece of chicken, uncooked chicken, uncooked meat has bacteria, right? So your chicken has bacteria, raw chicken has bacteria. So when you put it into the freezer, which is very cold and very dry, do they die? No, they don't die, right? They just turn into a spore. They go into hibernation mode. Okay, they hibernate. They will wait until the condition is good again. They will start reproducing again. So they break out of the spores when condition becomes favorable again. When it's warm, when it's wet, humid, they will start growing again. So you putting your stuff into the fridge, it doesn't kill the bacteria. They just become inactive. Okay, this is a very important point. Anyway, fungi, they are your mushrooms, right? Many mushrooms, yeast. You know what is yeast, right? You know what is yeast? We use this to make bread. We use this to make alcohol. Any alcohol, beer, wine, soju, sake, okay, even our meat, okay, every wine are all made from your yeast. They are an example of fungi. Okay, they reproduce by forming spores. Okay, something like your bacteria, they form spore. And here's the thing about these two, bacteria and fungi, they usually dislike. Okay, they usually dislike light. Whenever you have light, you won't see them. You don't see a mushroom growing under the sun, right? Oh yeah, what else is your fungi? You know what is your bread mold? Your bread mold, when you buy bread, you don't eat it for 2 weeks. When you take it out, why does it look like white spots on it? That's the fungi, right? Mushroom is the same thing. So they really they hate light. So if your room has a lot of bacteria, which makes you sick, you just need some sunlight in your room, it will kill all of them. Right? So what is algae? Like I said, algae is a mini plant. See, they are tiny plant, they are single cells, some are multi cells. okay, like your Spirogyra and seaweed, okay, and then of course you have your protozoa. They are tiny animals, okay? Mini plant and mini animals, so they can move like this paramecium and amoeba. Some move using cilia. Cilia is the tiny hair here. Like I said just now, the exercise there I said cilia, right? That's the tiny hair. Or flagellum, that's one single long hair like this. Okay, some move using pseudopodia, which is a false feet. Okay, you don't need to know this. Some protozoa, okay, see, although they are animals, some of them they do have chlorophyll. Huh? How can an animal have chlorophyll, sir? That's what they do. Some lah, very rare cases lah. Some of them they do have. Imagine a green color animal that can make their own food. They are like that. Some of them are like that. Okay, you might say, sir, what about virus? You say there are 4 types, right? Why isn't virus here? Because you have to know, what does it mean by an organism? Organism means living thing, right? Why is virus not here? Because virus is not a living thing. Virus is not an organism. They are the smallest, okay? I don't actually consider them a microorganism because they're not living. You cannot kill virus because it's already dead. It is dead. You can't kill virus. You can't kill something that is not alive. I can't kill my cup. A cup is not living. Same goes to this. A virus is not a living thing. A virus is just a protein. Just like your chicken. But this protein makes you sick. Really sick. Right? So all virus live in living cell, which is your host. That means virus, they will go into your body. You are the host. They need you to survive. If there's no host, they will die. Right? Virus cannot survive without a host. That's the thing. So let's say COVID, once I sneeze, they leave my body, the COVID virus will die in a few hours. Not to say die, they'll be destroyed. Okay, so when outside the host, viruses crystallize and become non-living particles, okay, because they are non-living. So virus is a very funny thing. Virus is a very complicated and funny thing to study because they don't behave like any of these. And usually virus diseases, they are quite deadly. You have your COVID, you have dengue. Every time you get flu, it's all caused by virus. Every time you get your flu, every time it is caused by virus. It's just around us. You cannot avoid one. So the more you know. So what are useful microorganisms? Okay, this is just to let you know. Microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi, they decompose dead organic substance to simpler substance. Okay, they are what we call decomposer. 分解者, like your earthworm. When you die, earthworm will eat your body away so that you become dirt. You become nutrient so that plants can use you and grow. It's the same. So bacteria, they do the same thing. These microorganisms also help to retain soil fertility. So it keeps the soil fertile so that your soil has nutrient. Yeast is used in fermentation of food. Like I said, alcohol and bread and cake. They use yeast. Does your mom bake? If she bakes, I'm sure she uses yeast. Even roti canai, you need yeast. Without yeast, roti canai cannot rise. Your roti canai wouldn't taste that nice. Right? And then bacteria are used to make food such as vinegar, yogurt, and cheese. Cheese is made using the thing called lactobacillus. Okay, lactobacillus is a special type of bacteria that makes cheese. Same goes to yogurt. And then harmful ones. They can cause harm to humans. Okay, they can cause infectious disease. They can cause tuberculosis, cholera, and diphtheria. I'll talk about this next week if I have the time. They can cause malaria. They can cause flu, dengue fever, AIDS, all kinds of. Okay, most of these they are caused by virus. Okay, quite a lot to absorb here. But you know what? I think I'm going to stop here. Okay, yeah, I have some exercise here because next week I'm still going to repeat this again just really quickly. So I'm just gonna, call it a day here. All right. Have you received your January notes already? I think this is January, right? I think February notes should be on your way. Should be on the way. Okay, February notes should be on your way. So I think next week I'll still be using. I will see. We'll see how. Right. Just in case you haven't really get your latest notes, I will put it into Google Classroom. You can use the soft copy for now. Okay, so if there's no question, I guess I will see you next week. Okay, so have a good Friday. I will see you again. Okay, so take care. Good night. See you and bye-bye.